So like we said, we have many disadvantages in sequential life cycles. This is why we created the Agile software development. So we will have a specific section for Agile software development and Agile testing inside our course. So I will not talk in depth about it now. I will just give you a brief overview about it. So Agile means the ability to move quickly and easily. So in Agile, in a general way, we have 4 values and 12 principles, which we will discuss later. But the main idea behind Agile development is to deliver continuous feedback to the customer. So instead of giving him one application after 6 months, I will give him feedback each 2 weeks, or at maximum 1 month. I will give him a prototype of the application, get feedback from him, and then work again on developing the rest of the application. So this is why some people call the Agile mini waterfall or mini V model, because it is like the waterfall or the V model, but within 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or at most 1 month. So Agile software development, sometimes you see people referring to it as incremental or iterative development. So Agile methodologies, Agile is a philosophy or a way of thinking, and it includes more than one life cycle. Like we said, we have sequential models. Inside it, we had V model and waterfall. It's the same. We have Agile, and inside Agile, we have Scrum, Kanban, Spiral, and so on. And of course, XP. So when we say that Agile is incremental or iterative, or both, what do we mean? So incremental means, like we see in this picture, I am building a car, okay? So I will begin by a small part of the car. Let's see, one wheel, okay? And then this is an increment. I will test it, it is working very well, and then I will integrate it with another part. Like we said, we have component and integration, or unit and integration. And then I will test it, and then integrate it with another part, and test it, and then integrate it with the rest of the system and test it. What is good here is that the client can come to me after the first increment and tell me, okay, I don't like, for example, this type of tire. I need it to be thicker or smaller. He can give me feedback on it. On the other hand, iterative means that I will create a whole application in one iteration. So let's say I have a big application, a big e-commerce website. At the first iteration, like let's say 2 weeks, I will create a simple application like this skateboard. Then in the next iteration, I will improve it. So like you see, what is developed at the end of the first iteration is usable. So in incremental model, if you only use incremental model without the idea of iterations, like you see, it is useless. You cannot use it. On the other hand, in iterative models, the product that is developed at the end of the first iteration is usable, even if it is not the best application or the best way of moving from one place to the other in the world, but it is usable. Sometimes we call it MVP, minimum valuable product. So it's a product, but it includes the minimum number of features and functions that are usable. So here, like we see, we have the skateboard, then we improve it, okay, we innovate and make it a scooter, then it's a cycle, then we have the car. Sometimes we mix between them. We use both iterative and incremental models. So it is iterative. In each iteration, we finish a whole application or a whole project, but inside the iteration itself, we are applying the incremental model, okay? We are adding the features to each other in an incremental way. So like we see here, the same difference between incremental and iterative models. So like we see, in incremental model, you need to draw the Mona Lisa, okay? This is a picture of a woman that is sitting down. So in incremental model, you will get a part of the illustration and do everything in it. You will finish it. So is it useful? No. If someone sees it, he will not understand anything. Okay, what is this picture? 2 hands. I don't understand anything. And then you go to the next part and finish it, and then to the third part and finish it. But in iterative model, you see, you will finish the whole painting in one layer. So when you see it, you will understand that it is a picture of a woman that is sitting down. And then you add a layer until you have the whole picture. So which one is better, incremental or iterative development? Sometimes we need incremental development, sometimes we need iterative development, and sometimes we need both of them. So let's say, for example, you have a house, okay, and you need to paint it. So if this house has only 3 rooms, okay, if I go and say I will finish the first room with everything. Okay, I will add the painting, the lighting, then the furniture, and then go to the second room, and then go to the third room. This will cost a lot, okay, because for example you will bring someone to paint the first room, and then you will bring him again to paint the second room, and then also you will bring him to paint the third room. So this is not good. In this case, it is better to work in an iterative way. So you will paint the 3 rooms, and then you will add lighting to the 3 rooms, and then add furniture to the 3 rooms. But if we assume that you are very rich, okay, you are extremely rich, and you have a house that includes 1,000 rooms. So in this case, is it better to finish the painting of all the rooms? And then, for example, let's say that your wife does not like the color of the rooms. In this case, you will paint the 1,000 rooms again. So what is better in this situation is to use the incremental model at least at the beginning of the life cycle. So let's take the first room, use it as a prototype, let's paint it, then add lighting to it, and then add furniture to it. And then get feedback from the client, which is your wife or the manager, if this is a hotel, for example, and it includes many rooms. And if they approve what is done in the first room, this will reduce the cost of finishing the rest of the 999 rooms. So in this case, we will do all of them in an iterative way. So this is why I'm saying that it is always better to mix between incremental and iterative models at the same time. This is how you apply Agile methodologies in your project. The most popular methodology in the Agile projects is called Scrum. Most of Agile teams apply Scrum. So I will give you also a brief introduction to Scrum. So Scrum divides the project, the big project like we said, into small iterations, and we call them sprints. And each sprint is from 1 week to 4 weeks. At the beginning, we have like a vision, what we are going to develop, let's say a social media platform, and we begin to write something that's called the product backlog. It is a replacement for the SRS or the BRD. It includes requirements in the form of something that's called user stories. We will discuss them later. So those user stories are written by the product owner. Here we have a product owner, mostly, not a business analyst. And then the whole team agrees, okay, this is the product backlog that will be done within 6 months. Which parts of it will be done within the next week or the next 2 weeks? This is called the sprint backlog. This is what we are going to work on in the next week or the next 2 weeks. And inside this sprint, which is from 1 week to 4 weeks, we work in more waterfall or V-model fashion. The person who manages the team during the sprint is called the Scrum Master. Every day we have something that's called the daily stand-up, and at the end of the sprint we have something that's called retrospective meeting and sprint review meeting. We will discuss Scrum in more depth later.